Midnight light on a dim lit screen, clicking through stories you wouldn't believe. Cold case trails and courtroom scenes, whispers from the grave and media dreams. Truth is stranger, hearts beat faster, in the shadows of a news disaster. Scrolling deep where secrets hide, you found the stories time won't deny. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods clubs to breaking news lines, you shine a light where the silence lies. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Small town rumors and urban fear, a voice for the lost who can't speak here. Through every name, through every case, you hold the truth in a steady place. Cameras roll but justice lingers, truth unravels through careful fingers. You tell a story, speak their names in a world that's quick to look away. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to great night trials, you trace the echoes through every mile. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Some run from the dark, you walk right in with a question and a camera lens. It's not just a crime, it's the lives they led. The voice is still talking from the books unread. Headstones and headlines, the veil is thin. Truth gets louder when you begin. With every view, with every line, you bring the forgotten back alive. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Yeah, headstones and headlines, you tell the stories that time can't hide.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a good day. My day was actually not bad. We had a lot of absent, well, I did at least. There were quite a few kids not at school today, so the kids that I did have in class got a lot of work done. So it was definitely a productive day. The weather is still kind of cold, although today it was close to 30 today, and the wind has finally calmed down. I don't think there was really any wind today, to be honest. So we are here to watch the sentencing of Persia Nelson, who was convicted of killing her infant daughter, and she was sentenced on Monday. So it's about an hour. The sentencing is about an hour. I'm probably going to speed it up just a little bit. I also have the first video I'm going to show is actually just to summarize the case so that all of you who don't know this case can kind of get some information before we get to the sentencing. And then there was a video I saw just before going live. There was a video released that the local news covered. So I'm not sure what that's about, but it was from about an hour ago. So we're going to take a look at that. And then there, as some of you may have seen on my community page, News Nation was reporting that the prime suspect was Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law. They're the only ones who are reporting on that. And I did see that several creators are running with that theory. I initially thought that Annie, Savannah's sister, is who dropped the mom off Saturday night. It is now being stated that Annie's husband is who dropped the mom off at 9:45 p.m. A local news outlet did have a video or a news clip just from a little bit ago. So we'll watch that at the end of the live today. Oh man, Manny, schools are canceled there for the rest of the week. I wish they were canceled here. Oh my gosh. But we have winter break. It starts, let's see, winter break starts on February 16th. So we have the rest of this week, all of next week, and then we have a week off. But then it's a really long stretch to spring break. I think it's 7 weeks until spring break. But yeah, so that is what News Nation is claiming. So I don't know. In a way, I kind of hope it was the brother-in-law, because maybe they're just holding Nancy somewhere and they knew that she would need meds, so she's being taken care of. I don't know. News Nation, Ashley Banfield had, I think it was probably posted last night. I know Pookie sent it to me, and then this morning I actually sent it to her without knowing she sent it to me. Ashley Banfield is claiming a lot of things. So whether or not they are true or not is, unverified at this point with law enforcement. So we are going to get started. Let me add this. So, oh, nope, that's not the right video. Oops. Oh, maybe it is the right video. Okay, never mind. I thought I had the wrong video. All right. So this was from about a year ago, this video here, just to get caught up on the case.
Details being released by Schenectady police tonight regarding the death of a 10-month-old baby girl, Halo Branton, found down a 10-foot pipe Sunday afternoon on the GE campus.
Her mother is being accused for her death, and CBS 6's Ashley Kusakonki reports now from Schenectady with more.
On Saturday night here in Schenectady, temperatures dropped to around 36 degrees with rain. And according to the autopsy, baby Halo died of exposure and hypothermia. Here on Campbell and 12th, this is where police say Nelson started before going through the woods and onto the GE campus. Her baby would be found hours later in a utility tunnel with a 10-foot drop with water and mud at the bottom.
The baby did not drown. The baby was in the water, which came up to her chest and around her head, but not her face.
10-month-old Halo Branton.
And this sweet little baby, we did learn yesterday, just in the clip we watched, that the mother stood there for, I think they said, did they say 30 minutes? I can't remember now, but she stood there for quite a long time. When she could have called 911, she could have gotten help for the baby. She continued to say it was an accident. She was drunk, but you could have called for help.
Died Sunday afternoon after being found in a 10-foot utility pipe on the GE campus. Her accused killer, her own mother, 24-year-old Persia Nelson. Nelson faces charges of second-degree manslaughter and an additional charge of second-degree murder.
At 11:04 p.m. on March 9th, the Schenectady County Unified Communications Center received a call from GE Security that there was a female trespasser on scene and didn't know how she got there, and she claimed to have lost her child.
On what appears to be Nelson's Facebook page, a post from...
Yep, and here was her Facebook post. I'm drunk as F. Don't play with me right now. LMFAOOO.
Saturday night reads, I'm drunk, Don't play with me right now. Schenectady police were asked if they knew where the child was at the time of this post.
As I mentioned earlier, this is an active investigation, so that's something that I really just don't want to comment on at this time.
An Amber Alert went out at 10:10 Sunday morning after criteria was met, but only to media and law enforcement. It went out to the public an hour later.
Mess it up, but it's a technology issues with the alert that went out yesterday. I've been advised that the New York Alert System and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is examining the error and working on a solution right now.
Shagger says this is the first time this error has happened, but adds an earlier alert would not have impacted this case. Nelson does have one other child, but police say they are currently with their biological father right now. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for this Thursday, but DA Carney says the department is proceeding for a grand jury quickly on this case. For now, Nelson is in custody on a $500,000 cash bail or a $1 million bond. Reporting in Schenectady, I'm Ashley Kusakongi with CBS 6 News.
All right, so that was just a quick summary. And I just realized I never said hi to anyone. I was so into this, talking about this, that I didn't even say hi. So Nanny, thanks for being here. Kursuma, it was good to hear your voice over at Sinners. Pretty cool. Evil Queen, thanks for being here. And Evil Queen, you had a comment on one of my posts, and I meant to respond, and I never did, and I don't remember what you wrote. I'll have to check after, but I remember I wanted to respond, and I never did. Hey Marie, thanks for being here. I know, Evil Queen, I got no sympathy. I know that baby was crying and she heard her. And just 10 feet, like, and the thing is, I don't know how big the pipe was, but I imagine because they said that the baby, just her face was above water. So that tells me that the pipe was narrow, because if it wasn't narrow, then I would think the baby would have gone underwater. That's just my theory. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I think I'm getting a cold. I'm not happy about it. Let's see. So as I was saying, what my point is that she would have had to carefully place the baby into the pipe so that she would go down the pipe. Like, you wouldn't just like toss the baby, right? You'd have to be meticulous about it. I don't believe for a second. And I wish burden of proof was here, because if I remember correctly, Persia was in a custody case with Halo's dad. But I don't remember. Like, for some reason, I have that in my head. I should have watched my other live stream, but just didn't have time. But I'm pretty sure there was a custody thing happening between Persia and the dad of baby Halo. Hey, Rhonda, thanks for being here. And so with that, I believe that Persia may have done it on purpose. That's just my perspective. Okay, so we're going to get to the sentencing. So I'm just going to, let's see. And I absolutely love this judge. He's like no nonsense. So I will mute during this and just chat with all of y'all in chat. I am going to put it on 1 1/4 speed. If it's too slow, I'll move it up. Oh, not sleep timer. What the heck am I doing? Let me get it together. So I'll do 1 1/4, and then if it's too fast, I'll put it, back to normal. But I think 1 1/4 should be good. true. The post she did showed anger, or just, yeah, because she had an argument with the boyfriend because they were celebrating a family member's birthday, and she had an argument with her boyfriend, so she took the baby and left. And I remember the boyfriend and his mother, or his aunt, I don't remember if it was his mom or aunt, did an interview, and the interview was very sketchy. So, right, don't play with me. Yep. All right, so here we go.
Mr. Mills, I haven't heard from him. I don't know if you saw, there was an email late last week about from the probation department about.
Yeah, that's yep, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, I haven't seen or heard from either of them.
To email Mr. Mills, let him know the case was on for 9:15. If he's a no-show, we're gonna have to put it on right away. Maybe the next day or two, his client didn't show up for the PSI. And he's not here today, so.
So I don't mean to pause this, but it appears that someone who was supposed to be at court right now is not. I'm just gonna scoot
Is there anything I
forward.
need to know before we bring out Ms. Nelson and go on record?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, let's bring Ms. Nelson out. Okay, we'll go on record. This is People v. Persha Nelson, P-124-9. Case is scheduled for sentence here today. Ms. Nelson is present. She is with counsel, Mr. Sacco. Both Mr. Nobles and Mr. Monte are here on behalf of the district attorney's office. Before we do proceed with sentencing, the court is going to hand out a written decision and order in the case. An original copy will go to the clerk. Courtesy copy to Ms. Nelson. Officer, so two to Mr. Sacco, one to the district attorneys. Defense counsel did submit a CPL 330 motion. People did file an affirmation in response. Court did review the defense motion. The people's response has issued a written decision in order denying the 330 motion and request that the verdict be set aside or any alternative that a hearing be conducted. With regard to the decision in order, you can of course have an exception to that, Mr. Sacco. PSI was prepared in this case, so we are in a position to go forward with sentence. The sentence follows what was a trial verdict of guilty with regard to 3 separate counts jury trial in which the jury did return a verdict of guilty, murder in the second degree, manslaughter in the second degree, and endangering the welfare of a child. Both sides received copies of the PSI.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any recommended changes, Mr. Sacco?
No, sir.
Any from the district attorney? And any victim who wishes to speak? I do know that the district attorney submitted a letter that the court received. Where do we have any victim who wishes to speak, or will there be any statement made on behalf of the victim in the case?
Judge, just on behalf of Halo's maternal grandmother, she did prepare a statement. She doesn't. She's not going to read it open court, but she asked us to read it. So Mr. Nobles is going to do that.
I believe I have a copy because it starts with ever. Okay. Yep. Court has a copy, so whenever you're ready, Mr. Nobles.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the victim impact statement of Courtney Kitt, K-E-I-T, on behalf of Halo's family. It reads, ever since the day Ken called me and asked me if we, the family, would like to say something at sentencing, I automatically said yes, of course, not knowing how hard this was going to be. I've been struggling for so many reasons. Most importantly, I'm just now coming to terms with the fact that Halo is now in heaven and her mother is the reason why. I also have to come to terms with the fact that one day Prince is going to want to know what happened. How did he lose his mom and sister all at once? Tell me, what do I say to him? Only his mother is the answer to that question. Only she can answer that, but she won't be there when the time comes. Christina talked about Persia like she knew her, just by the videos detailing the night in question. She saw the truth, and I appreciate commitment, time, and effort everyone put into this case. Persia came into our lives and changed it so much. She gave us so much joy and pain. I cannot believe this girl, who lived in my house and felt the love we had as a family, would do something like this. When I first heard the Amber Alert, I said to myself, there goes Persia looking for attention. Or was she trying to say we kidnapped her? Because on that same night, Halo was having the worst night of her life. Her brother was having one of the best nights of his life. Prince loves dinosaurs. And it just so happened that we were in Schenectady at the dinosaur exhibit. We had no clue Halo was right around the corner in a bad situation. Persia was trying to make my son look like a monster. My son gave up everything for her. She claimed he was beating on her. I wish maybe he would have knocked some sense into her head, because she didn't have to do anything. He took care of everything. She only worked long enough throughout the year to get an income tax check at the end of the year. I could go on for days about Persia. I would like to apologize to the Schenectady Police Department, who had to endure this horrible tragedy. It pains me, the memory you all carry of that night, only to have to replay it back in your testimony a year later and relive it all over again. I've had mental anguish since I heard some of these testimonies. Every time I watch a movie and someone dies with their eyes open, I think of Halo and the pain and stress they said she went through before finally taking her last breath. That's why her big blue eyes were the first thing they saw when looking down and over in the hole. Halo was too stressed out in pain to even close her eyes. I always told Persia, never let my grandkids stress you out. Whenever you feel like you need a break, just go. You can leave them with us, no questions asked. But this time, it was all about people. You used those children as pawns. I cannot believe we are here today. I want to once again apologize for the pain and disruption Persia caused on the lives of so many people. I pray Persia finds peace in the decisions she made that night. I pray we find peace as a family in helping Prince get through this difficult and painful situation you brought upon our lives. I pray my grandson finds peace about his sister, his untimely departure, as times go on. The kids in school keep telling him different stories about his mother hurting his sister. Do you know the hurt I feel every time my grandson comes home upset or crying because some little kid told him his mom killed his sister? Those are the days my heart aches the most.
Ms. Germonte, people wish to be heard at all prior to sentence?
Yes, please. Judge, this defendant now stands before you having been convicted of the depraved indifference murder of Halo Branton, an almost 11-month-old baby, who, as all children do, loved her mother, who was totally dependent upon her mother, and whose life was taken by her mother. Halo was killed by the person who should have been her first protector and her safest place. But instead, this defendant abandoned her, left her to suffer and die, and prevented the many people who tried to save her from doing that by pretending she didn't know where she was. And those people, they wanted to save her. So many people did. This defendant's conscious decisions that night, her heinous and despicable acts, and her uncaring state of mind, they warrant severe consequences. You heard the facts that came out at the almost 3-week-long trial. How could her actions, what she did to that little baby, call for anything less than the maximum sentence? But before I ask you to consider certain facts about this case and this defendant when imposing sentence, I want to briefly address some of the points that may come up when the defense has an opportunity to speak. The fact that she has no criminal history, possibly even revisit the idea that on the night this happened, she was cold or stressed, maybe both. These things that the defense may bring up, they are in no way mitigating factors in a case where she killed her baby in this fashion. She's a convicted murderer of her 11-month-old daughter, abandoned a vulnerable baby in a black hole where she froze to death and walked away. This woman should not get credit for that being her only conviction. I mean, the idea that she should get any kind of credit for this being her first conviction should hold just about as much weight as saying she did this because she was cold or stressed from being cold while her baby froze to death. And there are some things that you do that are just so awful that they alone define you. They alone matter. Your history does not and should not matter. And that is the case here. And as far as the weather that was talked about so much at trial, the cold stress, the jury rejected those things as an excuse or as a mitigation for her criminal conduct and social view. What matters here today is what she did on March 9th and 10th of 2024. This defendant made a series of choices, conscious choices, reckless choices, and depraved choices. And her sentence should reflect that and the devastating results of those choices. Halo didn't have a say here. She didn't have any choice. She didn't choose her mother, didn't choose to be out in the cold and the rain that night or to be abandoned in a place where no one could find her. An innocent little baby, not even able to walk, barely able to talk, and totally dependent on her mother. Totally dependent on her killer. You know, I said this at trial, and it's worth saying again. None of this was even about Halo, not for this defendant. This wasn't some punishment to her. This was about the defendant's life. It was all about her anger, her struggles, her need to rid herself of burdens, her responsibilities, her life she looked at as unfair, and her needing to ultimately control and manipulate. And she had options. Halo had a father who wanted her, and a family, as you heard, who would have taken her. Her father was trying to get custody of her, but she was going to control where Halo went. And it wasn't into the warm arms of a loving family who wanted her, but into a cold pit where she left her alone. She had options that night. She didn't need to be out there with her baby, but that was the choice she made. Because after getting into an argument at a party, she became irate. Her boyfriend's mother tried to stop her from leaving with the baby, offered her a place to stay that night. Her response, she cursed at her, slammed the door in her face, and left with her 11-month-old, taking her from a warm house surrounded by people into the dark, into the cold, into the rain, with no supplies, no coat, just that blanket that was later found in the mud. And despite the rain and the cold and all of the terrible conditions you heard about during this trial, she takes that baby off of a lit street and into the darkness of those woods, down an embankment that's basically a cliff, climbed a fence onto the GE campus, and then continued to walk toward the light. But Halo doesn't make it to the light. Because at the edge of the darkness, she came upon that structure, a box. 350 feet from that lit building, from safety, a box covered an 8-foot hole in the ground. She stood in front of it and leaned in, and what she was carrying goes away. Her baby goes away, and her life got easier. In sentencing this defendant, I asked you to look at the video of that box and where it was one more time. And this is Exhibit 28 at trial that we're going to find. Just a minute of it. These two structures shown together, they are the picture of the crowd. This is an area where you throw something away, where you dispose of something. And that's where you go to be safe. that's it, Judge. Those two images. It's the demarcation point between shadow and light, old and born, death and life. This defendant chose death for her daughter and life for herself. In her conduct, the heinous nature of it, her depravity, it's not just her decision to put her in there, where she was likely to die and so unlikely to be found in there. It's her decision to leave, to walk away, to abandon there, and to walk off to safety for herself. She doesn't just walk away. She goes to a warm, lit-up building to go rest. Out of the elements, made her way through a garage, past several fire alarms, made her way to a break room with a working phone, and did not call for help. Didn't pull a fire alarm, went into a chair, and took a rest. And then, when shortly after she's found, there was only one person who could have saved that baby. She could have told the police and paramedics where she was. She could have given her a fighting chance at that time. But what did she do? She claims she doesn't remember. She doesn't know where, no idea where her baby is. Ensuring at that moment her baby would die in that home in order to save herself, to not get in any trouble, to make herself a victim, the mother of a missing child. Just pretended to not know where she was. The person who put her there took away her last chance to be saved. You know, she may be sorry now, she may be upset now. That's what mattered, that moment, when she could have saved her, and she saved herself. But she didn't care. You heard about her in the hospital, you saw her in the hospital, you saw her in the interview room. She went to the hospital. The nurse is trying to build a rapport with her so they can try to get information as to where the baby was. Time was of the essence, and she's going on about a shower, about her life being unfair, about her fight with Dante, all before mentioning anything about her baby at the hospital. As one of the detectives said at trial, the whole city was looking for her baby. And you heard from many of those people who didn't even know Halo, people who were devastated. You saw their reaction, you saw how emotional it was. As the nurse who treated Halo said, you don't stop. You go through all of the motions, you try everything you can. As Detective Canona said at trial, a baby was missing. It was like my own baby was missing. If I had to stay up 4 days, I would have stayed up 4 days. Compare and contrast that with what you saw in the interview room in the early morning hours of March 10th as people were desperately searching for her missing baby, supposedly. Missing baby. What did you hear from this defendant? I want to go lay down. I'm tired. I'm in pain. I'm cold. Call me when you find my damn baby. What is my sitting here going to do? When her baby was out there alone in the dark and frozen, and she's complaining about being cold. Absolutely uncaring, no remorse, no empathy, and at some points downright obnoxious and hostile to the people trying to find and save her baby. Why? Because she wasn't the mother of a missing child. She was the killer of that child, and she knew it. She's living in a fantasy world if she thinks people didn't see through her act, pretending not to know where her own baby was. A mother who doesn't know where their baby is, who honestly doesn't know, and knew it was in a life-threatening situation, would not be sitting in a police station saying, I need to go lay down, bro. I'm in pain. I'm tired. I'm cold. I'm impatient. That's not how the mother of a missing child acts. Not to mention, people don't just forget where they put their kid. That's not something that happens. She knew where she was. And how else do we know that she knew where she was? Because she spent 28 minutes with her. 28 minutes at that spot before she walked away. She didn't just drop the baby in the hole. She stayed there for 28 minutes after, as Halo cried herself to death. And she did nothing during those 28 minutes. She didn't run away to get help. She didn't jump down and throw the baby out of the hole. And the worst part is, she didn't change her mind. She had 28 minutes to change her course, to try to get help, even pretend it was an accident. Whatever she had to do. If this is not a case, a killing where there was a quick decision made and then it was too late, she could have saved her. She stayed for 28 minutes and did nothing. I'm sure just waiting for her cries and screams. The cries and screams of a freezing, terrified baby to stop so no one could hear her when she walked away. You know, oftentimes when somebody dies, you hear people say, well, at least they didn't suffer. You know, even if there's a tragic death, people take comfort in knowing the loved one didn't suffer. Unfortunately for Halo, the reality is she suffered. She spent her final moments in a dark, cold hole alone. But her mother was right there above her, right there, hearing her suffer, hearing her cry, cries for help that she never answered. You know, when I hear the statement read by Mr. Nobles that Halo's grandmother prepared, what has always struck me about this case is just how many other people were also affected by her conduct. Additional victims of hers. Her son, Prince, who must not only deal with the loss of his little sister, but the eventual knowledge that it was his mother who killed her. Halo's father, Amar, family, his family, who wanted her, who wanted to take care of her, and who would have taken care of her, as they do with her brother. The hundreds of people who searched for Halo, the medical professionals, the nurses, doctors, and paramedics who tried to save her, and of course the 5 men that you heard from during the trial who found Halo's frozen body, her lifeless body in that morning. The 5 officers who saw firsthand and who will have to deal with the memory of it. I'll remind you once more of what they found. A baby floating face up in water, partially stuck under a pipe. Her eyes open, staring straight up at them. They were blue. They didn't see her moving. They didn't see any signs of life coming from her. In their words, it was devastating. Police officers, first responders, trained to deal with dangerous, difficult, and traumatic situations, devastated by what she did, by what they saw. A group of people who all came together, who didn't know Halo before this day, but who desperately tried to save her. A group of people who cared more about her than her own mother did on that day. A little baby, deprived of the chance to really ever have a life, to even have a first birthday. But Halo will be remembered by all of these people, by all of us. Her killer will be forgotten. This case is about a series of choices that this defendant made, and her decision to abandon her baby daughter, to hide her, and to leave her to die. The judge, it's now you who gets to make the final decision in this case. And we ask that you impose a maximum sentence of 25 years to life for her depraved murder of baby Halo.
The court's going to hand up the DNA order at this time. As soon as we get the DNA order signed, I will give Mr. Sacco an opportunity to be heard, as well as Ms. Nelson. The order will be filed with the clerk of the court. Mr. Sacco, defense wish to be heard prior to sentence?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Judge, I should also note that my client does have a statement to make when I'm done. I know you'll ask her, but I want to. Judge, this has been, as the court knows, as the jurors know, as the prosecution knows, this has been a very, very difficult case for everyone involved. There's no winners here. There's no, it's a tragedy that you can't even quantify. But the question today is, what should happen with Bridget Nelson, and what should her sentence be? And the reason the juries and prosecutors and defense lawyers don't sentence defendants is because it takes a certain skill, it takes a certain impartiality, it takes a certain ability to step back and look at all the facts and circumstances of the case. Now, I do believe there's mitigation here. And the mitigation, the typical mitigation in a case is age of the defendant. Bridget Nelson is fairly young. Criminal history. Has this, is this person a repeat offender? Is this a person that does come before the court many times and doesn't get it? Well, Bridget Nelson does have a lack of criminal history. Is Bridget Nelson a danger to the community? And the court will have to decide that on their own, but Bridget Nelson with treatment and with some sort of rehabilitation likely would not be a danger to the community. Another factor is the possibility of rehabilitation. Now, you're going to hear from Bridget Nelson in a few minutes, and you can gauge that for yourself, what her mindset is. And another factor, of course, is remorse. And of course, no one has ever heard from Persia Nelson. And until today, you'll hear from her. You have not heard from Persia Nelson. You've seen videos of the night in question. I understand that. But no court, no prosecutor has heard from Persia Nelson since this case started. And you will hear from her today. And I believe you will be able to take that into consideration along with all these factors. Now, Mr. Monte went through, a number of things that happened during the case, and I'm certainly not going to rehash the case that we were here for 3 weeks for. But, sitting at this table, reviewing the facts of the case and the evidence of the case, I don't agree that my client is an evil person that did not care for the baby, that wanted to kill the baby, that did all these horrible things. And the reason I say that is because of the facts of the case. Persia Nelson, whatever, she was drunk, 0.18 BAC. She leaves the party. She walks down the street. Now, if it was her intention to harm this baby, do all these horrible things, exhibit this evil intent, there were many opportunities to do that. She could have left the baby in the park. She could have thrown the baby down the hill. She could have left the baby by the fence. Anywhere in that swamp, if that was her goal. But the facts of the case demonstrate that she wanted to go towards these lights. So I just have a hard time believing about this evil intent that she wanted to do this. This was her plan. It just flies in the face of the facts of the case. We will never know what happened at the shed that you just saw on the video screen. No one will ever know what the facts are surrounding what happened in that shed. You can guess. You can guess all day long. And you can come up with some decent hypotheses, probably. But no one will ever know what occurred there that night. And there's two ways to look at that. Either Persia Nelson honestly doesn't know what happened there, which if you have a 0.18 BAC and you're very cold and it's pouring rain and you can't see, is a possibility. It is not a zero possibility that could not be the truth. Or she's lying and she remembers everything that happened at that shed. Those are the two possibilities. And contrary to the prosecution's assertions, they don't know. They don't know if she remembers that or not. So I want you to take that into account, Your Honor. Nothing will bring Halo back. Nothing will repair Halo's family's heartache. Nothing will help Halo's little brother. Nothing will. But the question here is, what is a just punishment for Persia Nelson? I can tell you, and you'll hear from her in a minute, she is remorseful. I can tell you that she accepts responsibility. I can tell you that it's genuine, contrary to what everyone thinks. So, Judge, after you hear from Ms. Nelson and after you consider my arguments and everything you've seen during this case about who Ms. Nelson is, I ask you to not sentence her as you would for some of the evil, heinous defendants that you come before you. That some cases in Schenectady County have been men who kill nuns 25 to life, people that do horrible things to just evil, grotesque intent. That's not what we have here. That's not what we have here. We have, it could be criminal, it could not be criminal, but it is a tragedy, a tragic accident. And I think there's a distinction between that upper level of grotesque, evil conduct and what you have in this case. So I'm asking you, Judge, for the minimum sentence, which is still an incredibly lengthy sentence with life on the end of it. That would be 15 years to life in prison. They've asked for 25 years to life, and I've asked for 15 years to life, a 10-year difference. Both life sentences. Not asking for an apology or not asking for incredible leniency. I'm asking for some sort of reasonableness for a 24-year-old woman under the circumstances that you saw in this case. She did not set out to harm this baby. In fact, she had the baby for 10 months prior to this happening. She took care of the baby. And I think the only evidence in the case is that she did, and she was good with the baby up until this point. I believe that's the only evidence in the case. So, Judge, well, as you consider your sentence, I have My position is clear. I'm asking for a minimum sentence. And at this point, I would like to allow my client to read her statement.
Whenever she's ready.
You want to stand?
Either way.
Hello, my name is Persia Nelson, and I would like to start by truly and sincerely apologizing to my son, Prince, our children's father, Amor Brayton, to Amor's family as well as my family. I know all of you may have or have strong feelings and opinions about me and the tragic accident I have caused. But truly, I want all of you to know I respect and understand your feelings, and you're very much entitled to them. I also want to apologize for all the infliction and turmoil I've caused in everyone's lives, including everyone who worked and or heard about this case. Especially to the patrol officers, Jonathan Goebel and Michael Zupp. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the hurt I inflicted on you, even though I'm sorry. I'm also thankful that you found my daughter Ava. So I thank you and everyone that worked very hard and helped. Everyone's hard work didn't go unnoticed. And once again, I'm sorry. Thank you all. Most importantly, I need to apologize to my daughter, Ava. That's not what happened. I'm sorry I let my self-centered ways cause harm to you. I'm sorry I wasn't being responsible. I'm sorry I wasn't being a better mother for you. Every day, I wish it was me, and not my daughter truthfully. I'm not saying that for pity. I'm just saying how I feel. Yes, I shouldn't have been smoking and drinking when I needed to be responsible for my daughter. I still haven't accepted my daughter's death, but I have accepted accountability for my actions that helped cause her death. I never intentionally meant to cause my baby girl harm, and I will feel the weight of my ignorance and stupidity in my actions for the rest of my life. There is no medication or remedy that will change how I feel. I know I've ruined many lives, and I am immensely sorry. I'm sorry to everyone. That's all.
Of course, I've had an opportunity to hear from both sides. From the defendant, has also reviewed the PSI. Court also had an opportunity to preside over the jury trial in this case, and has thus heard the testimony and had an opportunity to view and listen to all of the physical evidence, including the audio and video. Ms. Nelson, you can cry all you want, but I know you're smart enough to know what you got coming in this case, right?
Yes.
I mean, we get all kinds of killings in this courthouse, in this courtroom. Negligent killings, reckless killings, intentional, depraved, indifference murder. And then we got this, baby murder. Our jury came back with baby murder. So you're getting maxed in this case. There's no doubt about that. All right, this is not a tragic accident. Absolutely not. So I heard a lot of sorries. I didn't hear, I'm sorry for murdering my baby. But you'll be saying that one day. About 25 years, when you're before the parole board, I bet you'll be saying it then. Because you're gonna wanna get out. Sorry, remorseful, crying then too. I bet. Yeah, but just remember, they're gonna hear and read exactly what the jury heard in this case. And that's the way you murdered baby Halo. All right, that video and the pathologist's testimony describing, so we do know what happened. We do know what happened. All right, you put baby Halo in an 8-foot pitch black, freezing, water on the bottom, hole in the ground. And as the pathologist described, she froze to death from hypothermia. You know, he described some victims of hypothermia. You know, there's almost a period of peaceful acceptance, you know. Some even get undressed, go sleep. That's not what baby Halo did. She was absolutely terrified. Right, and she was crying. She was crying the whole time. Crying for you. And you were there. That's what the video showed. You were there. And she knew it. So I don't, this ain't a left her. You waited. All right, up until the very end. That's why she died with her eyes open. Terrified, pitch black, waiting for you, keeping her eyes open. She never goes. So, well, when it comes to that evidence, that testimony, "25 years from now, parole," well, I wouldn't get my hopes up. First count, murder in the second degree. The court does impose an indeterminate minimum 25 to a maximum life period of imprisonment. Manslaughter in the second degree, the court imposes an indeterminate maximum, 8 1/3 to 25. Is that?
5 to 15, it's man 2.
5 to 15, indeterminate, man 2, not man 1. Murder in the second degree and the manslaughter count will run concurrent to one another. Endangering the welfare of a child, 1 year local. It's a Class A misdemeanor. It will automatically run concurrent and merge into the state sentences. And that is the sentence and judgment of the court, the PSI, which does recommend a sentence consistent with the court's sentence will be filed with the clerk. Defendant will be remanded back to the custody of the sheriff, turned over to Docs, serve out her sentence according to law.
And there she went. There she went. I absolutely love that judge. And he, towards the end, he said, I was going to write it down and I forgot. When he was saying, 25 to life, you'll be up for parole. But he said, I wouldn't get your hopes up. I'm like, go judge. Go judge.
Live with breaking news.
So she's 24 now. She will be up for parole when she's 49 years old. 49 years old. And I agree with Marie. She should have to spend the rest of her life in prison because that baby's not going to have her life. And, the sad thing is New York does not have the death penalty. So 25 to life is, and they charge her with second-degree murder, depraved indifference, that special, what is it? I don't know the exact word, but like special circumstance. I don't think so either, Nanny. I don't think she's going to get parole. I mean, just based on the little bit that the judge said in regards to the video that showed Persia standing there for 28 minutes. And then, the pathologist report. Oh, 1 second. So I am going to, I need to remember to call or email the court, because I would like to get transcripts of everything so that we can go through it, because I would like to hear the testimony. Marie says, I'm sure judges have a right to give his opinion on future decisions. If so, I think he will ask that she not get parole. Yeah, spiteful, evil. Yeah, and the one thing I am glad that Persia said in her statement was that she was sorry for her self-centered actions. And that's exactly why she did what she did. She didn't want the burden of baby Halo anymore. Even though Halo's dad was fighting for custody, she had her family, the father's family. There were so many people in her life that would have taken Halo, no questions asked. But she wanted to be a bitch. And she is an evil one at that. Yeah, the indifference standing there watching. Yep. Well, that baby cried. She was probably thinking about who she was mad at. No regard for that baby girl. Nope, sure not. So this last clip I have in regards to baby Halo, News Channel 13 had a clip where I think this was from today. Oh yeah, 9 hours ago. So it was from this afternoon. So it says newly released video shows final moments before Halo Branton froze to death in Schenectady. So I'm guessing the news stations are already on getting, transcripts, video, et cetera, et cetera. So we're
News Channel 13 live at 5 starts right now.
New at 5, and this is something you have got to see. The shocking moments, the video leading up to the death of baby Halo Branton.
One day after Halo's mother, Persia Nelson, was sentenced to state prison, the prosecution is sharing what they say proved her guilt. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rachel Teedy.
And I'm Steve Cooge. For the first time, we're getting a look at the key video at the very center of a high-profile murder trial in Schenectady County.
The video shows Persia Nelson putting her baby into the hole where little Halo froze to death. Kumi Tucker has the evidence you're seeing only on 13.
This is video just made public, and it shows Nelson at the crime scene. And perhaps more chilling, it shows her there for about a half an hour while her terrified daughter died. This grainy video made an impression on the jury. Prosecutors say it shows Persia Nelson putting her baby in a deep...
Okay, because I was like, why is it blurry? So if you look over here in the far right, I'm assuming this white. So I'm going to actually rewind it just a little bit, because I was looking at this. So here she is right here. And then this white building right here appears to be the structure where they found baby Halo. And I'm wondering where. I'm going to have to go to the map again and see like where on the GE campus this exactly is. This looks like the back part. Because I remember when I first covered this, I was trying to figure out like where could she go through and where would she have gone? So she is this little teeny white speck right where my cat is. So that's what we're watching.
Made an impression on the jury. Prosecutors say it shows Persia Nelson putting her baby in a deep, dark hole on the GE campus where the almost 11-month-old baby froze to death in March 2024.
As soon as she gets there, she immediately goes to an opening in the side of that structure, and you can see that she's holding something, that she bends over and lowers that thing essentially into the darkness, and that's Halo, and we never see Halo again.
And for the first time, we're getting a look at the covered hole in which baby Halo spent.
Oh, that poor baby. So don't tell me, like, she's full of shit. Don't tell me that she didn't pick that spot on purpose. You know, the defense, I understand he has a job to do. But when he said, you know, she could have left her in the swampy part, she could have left her by the fence, she could have left her in the park. Well, those places baby Halo would have been found much quicker. Freaking sick.
At the covered hole in which baby Halo spent the last minutes of her short life. Dark, cold, with large pipes, 8 feet down to the bottom.
And there was some pipes in it. And where she was very close to the wall, Halo's head. So you'd have to look straight down into it to see her with her body sort of wedged under a pipe. And there was some standing water at the bottom.
These two prosecutors devoted months of their lives to getting justice for almost 11-month-old Halo. Nelson was convicted at trial. She was sentenced yesterday to 25 years to life. Prosecutors say they found the baby died with her eyes open, waiting for her mother.
They saw her eyes. Every officer that saw her when they looked down, the first thing they saw was, as they described it, her eyes looking straight up at them.
There was also a picture of where Nelson was found and why prosecutors say it was very telling. That's coming up new at 6 at the Schenectady County Courthouse. Kumi Tucker, News Channel.
Okay, and I just wanted to see, they have this godfather of Halo Branton writes emotional letter to baby's murderer. I think
the godfather of baby Halo wants.
Okay, so let's see when this one is from. Oh, 35 minutes ago. Okay. So we are going to listen to this too.
The godfather of baby Halo wants to give the murdered child a voice, and he's sending a letter to Persia Nelson, Halo's mother, who was sentenced for the baby's murder just 2 days ago. Kumi Tucker has the story you're seeing only on 13.
Elijah Royal shared some photos of the happier times he had with his friend Persia Nelson, and he was there early on just after Halo's birth. We spoke to Royal 2 years ago, just after Nelson's arrest, and he said seeing her then, it was not the person he knew. Halo died at just 10 months old. Her mother left a family party with her in March 2024 and went out into the cold to the GE campus in Schenectady. The jury in the murder trial saw a grainy video of Nelson walking to a structure that covered a deep hole and staying there for 28 minutes, then walking away without the baby. And yesterday, we showed you exclusive pictures of that shed and the 8-foot cold, watery hole where baby Halo took her last breaths.
Ugh.
Elijah Royal said in a handwritten letter to Nelson, "I can imagine what Halo was thinking, going through and feeling. When I cry, mom comes to pick me up, or dad, or brother, or godfathers, freezing with no way to get warm, sensing the presence of her mother for 28 minutes until her lungs couldn't produce any more air to cry." At first, Royal thought maybe the baby had gotten away from Nelson in a shed. But after seeing the images of the crime scene that the jury saw, he said he realized this was no accident, that Persia had put her baby there and then stood there and did nothing. Nelson was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison on Monday in Schenectady County Court. Royal also wrote, "You're going to be in there with real-life gangbangers, murderers, nasty, disgusting people, all for one moment of anger. Your life is over. You are cooked."
Good. Good. I'm glad he said that to her, because it's true. People don't like people who murder.
And Elijah Royal
children and
says that
babies.
it pains him every single day to know that his goddaughter will never see her first birthday.
Ugh, disgusting. Okay. So that actually leads us to, I do have a video that we're going to look at in regards to Nancy Guthrie. But yeah, that baby did have insanely beautiful eyes. So yeah, she was a lot skinnier. Yep. And she's definitely aged. Like, she does not look 24. She doesn't look 24 now. Yeah, so baby Halo hopefully will be able to rest in true peace now that her mom has been sentenced to 25 to life. And just so, like the prosecutor said, so many victims, not just baby Halo, but the family, the friends, the first responders, the searchers, the EMTs who tried to save her. And then she just was worried about herself. She found a heated building until she was found. So that's why I'm also curious to see, the other testimony. And I did go to the map to the GE campus, but I don't think, I kind of tried to look where that little building might be, and oh wait, I was trying to see, because there were these big, I don't know what they were, but I was trying to find where those things would be. And I'll show you, if a lot of you may not know what the GE campus looks like. So General Electric, sure some of you have had those appliances in your day. It's actually a beautiful campus too. It's right off Interstate 890. So this is the GE campus right here. And let's see. I believe she was on one of these side streets, and she ended up going through an opening in the fence to get over to the campus. So that's why I had thought maybe it was in this area that the little building was, but it was hard to tell. But you can see where the back part of the campus is a lot of industrial. And then when you get closer, this is where it's, the parking lots and things like that. So that's why I think, I don't know, I'm thinking it was in this area. Because initially I remember thinking it might have been this, because it kind of was round, but it clearly wasn't that. I mean, and it looks like the grass is really mowed in this photo. So, oh, there's a structure right there that could have been, I don't know. But anyways, that's the campus where she left baby Halo. And that's why I don't know, where's the park? Oh, there's the swamp. So there's the swamp. Oh, here's the park right here. Oh shit, I think I was, oh my God, I was just in this area the other day. Oh, holy shit. I didn't realize that I went right past here because here's the Dollar General I went to right here. Holy crap, I went right by this park and didn't even realize it. I just saw Campbell Avenue and I'm like, wait a minute. I was just on Campbell Avenue this past weekend. This is not a very good section of Schenectady either. I will tell you that. It is very sketchy. Very sketchy. So, anyway. WTF had to be going through her mind, la-di-da, walking home after a party. And they did say that her blood alcohol content was 0.18. I mean, that was the same as Marcella Chidester. I believe Marcella Chidester was 0.18 as well. Which reminds me, I need to check on Stephen Schwally. I haven't checked into his case in a while. And then I did see that Luciano Fredolin, the father who killed his daughter in the Lake George region, he's been having quite a few court dates, but nothing significant's been happening. So I have to look at that too. Yeah, Doodles, she probably felt relief. She was free, no responsibility. And the fact that I can't believe, the female prosecutor was saying what she said during her interview. And the fact that she was saying, I'm cold, I'm tired, go find my daughter, or whatever she said. Like, why didn't you get off your ass and try to save your daughter? I mean, talk about defiant and just ungrateful. Ugh, it's disgusting. She's where she belongs. I wonder where she's gonna go though. Hold on a second. I'm gonna see if I can find her court docs quick. Let's see. I think it's through, New York State Unified Court System. Maybe that's not what I want. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Public records. Persia. That's it. Nope, that's not what I want either. I hate those, it pretends it's like an actual. Oh, this is what I want. Okay, here we go. All right, so party, Persia, Nelson. What the heck? What do you mean you can't find it? Am I spelling her name wrong? This is weird. Okay, we'll have to do that a different day because for some reason it's not showing me her case. Oh, here, court records. Oh, maybe I do have to go through that. All right, I'm going to try this once more. And if not, I'll just have to do it a different day. All right, establishing connection with New York County records. I don't know, this looks like a weird site. Oh, here we go. Persia. Yep, P. Nelson. All right. Persia Marie. No. All right. I'm just going to do that later. It brought me to a background check. That's not what I want. I want her actual court record. Okay. So let me go back to my playlist. Oh, it says family friend of Guthrie speaks out. Okay. So let me put this saved playlist. So as I had said, News Nation claims that, Ashley Banfield specifically, yeah, it's like everyone is saying police named suspect. They haven't named a suspect. Like, that is false. That is false. Okay, but Pookie had sent me, actually, I'm going to start with that. Pookie had sent me a short from Brian Enton. So I wanted to show that first. And speaking of Brian Enton, let me go to X and see if he has any updates listed there. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. So let me share this. Okay, so 9 hours ago, the Pima County Sheriff's Office says this morning they have not identified a person of interest or suspect, and they are, quote, working closely with the Guthrie family. Because this morning is when I saw Ashley Banfield's video. So 9 hours ago, they're saying they did not have a suspect. So then we get to 5 hours ago, deputies were just searching an area behind Nancy Guthrie's house. So that tells me they must have gotten a tip or something for them to go back. Oh, thank you, Pookie. And I don't know if I think Pookie's listening. I just got your other video, so we'll take a look at those too. Interesting. Okay, so that was just blocking. So then it says 1 hour ago, police and what appear to be feds just showed up at Nancy Guthrie's house. They are staging in the driveway and appear to be planning to do some kind of search. 1 hour ago, right now, investigators are putting crime scene tape back up at Nancy Guthrie's house. Major police presence here, canines and search teams.
There's also a dog, canine. They were rolling. So the crime scene tape is going back up outside Nancy Guthrie's house. About a dozen sheriff's deputies and FBI. I think FBI showed up here. There's also a dog, canine. We have our drone up, so I should have better video in a second, but there's another team of officers that came in this van. We don't really know what's going on because it's been quiet here for the last couple of days. But now clearly they are about to do something at the house.
Wow, there's a lot. Okay, so that was that. 58 minutes ago, grid search happening in the wooded area around Nancy Guthrie's house right now. Watching it with our drone. 29 minutes ago, investigators are now in Nancy Guthrie's garage. Okay, so let me go back to my playlist because I did have a video from local news. No, pause. And I wanted to show this because it kind of goes along with what I was saying with this unverified, like everyone is, you know, certain creators are already live saying that the brother-in-law is a suspect. No, he has not been named a suspect. So I think it's irresponsible to, I mean, yes, I shared Ashley Banfield's video saying I thought it, you know, my gut was telling me it was somebody that she knew, but I'm not going to go live saying this is the guy who did it when police are now saying that they do not have a suspect or a person of interest for that matter. Yeah, she kept saying a police informant. Yeah, or I think it was like someone close to the case. But I mean, I think it is weird that they're back at the house. They put the crime scene tape back up. They're searching again. There has to be something that, you know, a tip or something that came in, some type of evidence they found to go back and search. But then again, you've had reporters tramping around and, you know, Brian Etten went up and got video of the porch. So, I mean, is it compromised now? And that's actually one of the videos that Pookie had sent me that we'll take a look at.
To follow breaking developments in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. Right now, questions remain unanswered as investigators race to find the 84-year-old. It's now been 4 days since the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie is suspected to have been abducted from her home in the Catalina foothills of Tucson. New developments in the investigation have been slow coming, but the Pima County Sheriff's Office assures that they are working hundreds of possible leads in this case. 12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra is live in Tucson with the latest in this investigation. And Gabriella, what's the sheriff saying about a possible suspect?
Well, Tram, right now, the sheriff is doubling down on the fact that they have not yet identified a person of interest or a suspect in this case. This comes as there were rumors of a possible suspect circulating social media this morning, but the sheriff was very quick to shut that rumor down. And I want to read you part of a statement that he released in response to that. Sheriff Chris Nano says detectives are working closely with the Guthrie family. While we appreciate the public's concern, the sharing of unverified accusations or false information is irresponsible and does not assist the investigation. The sheriff says detectives are speaking with anyone.
Right. And I agree with that because now there are creators, you know, influencers, people posting on social media that the brother-in-law is a suspect, and he's not. He's not. Well, Savannah's brother-in-law. So it would be, you know, Nancy's son-in-law. So irresponsible. I mean, I saw there was somebody live right now with the, let me just go back. I want to make sure I quote it correctly. Where is it? Oh, here, Nancy Guthrie is missing. Police name suspect. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Could inheritance be the motive? Like, that is irresponsible. They have a picture of the guy on their thumbnail. Brother-in-law, a suspect. No. Oh, yeah. Oh, here's another one. Bombshell new clues just dropped. Suspects in Nancy Guthrie case. OMG. Breaking, Nancy Guthrie, potential suspect, part 2. Like, come on. Like, I just don't get it. Like, just stop already. Oh, they're live. One of the local news stations is live at the scene. We'll go to that in a moment.
Who may have had contact with Nancy Guthrie. They're also waiting on forensic DNA evidence results to come back from a lab in Phoenix. The sheriff says they collected all kinds of evidence at Guthrie's home, including DNA. So far, the only match has been to Guthrie herself, but detectives are expecting more possible matches to be returned in the coming hours and days. Another big factor in this investigation is surveillance video or lack of it. As of yesterday, the sheriff's office was still working to obtain access to any cameras that Guthrie had around her home. We did notice that a doorbell camera appeared to be missing. The sheriff says detectives are looking into that.
We're following all leads we have. That's all I can.
I agree, Marie. Reporting false news could put that man and his family in great danger. And what you don't realize is that he is still part of the family. Like, at this point, he is part of the family, and it's not fair to the rest of the family. And that's why, Banfield, they always want to be first. Well, I would rather be right than first. Because if all of this is untrue, you look like a fucking idiot. Yeah, I wonder, yeah, I think it should have been too. I mean, but, they turned it back over to the family. But I mean, in that case, some of the evidence, like Nanny said, I hope it wasn't compromised. But, if the family was there, you have reporters walking around.
Tell you, we've got hundreds of leads, and it's from you that produce those leads by telling people we need help, and I'm grateful for that. But I'm not going to get into all that. We have a team designated to deal with all of our leads. They're looking into all of that.
And at this point, the sheriff says there is no credible information that suggests this was a targeted incident. That statement comes after at least 2 Tucson stations and TMZ reported receiving ransom notes. Those are unverified ransom notes, and the sheriff says he is aware of those, and they are thoroughly investigating him. Now on day 4 of this search for Nancy Guthrie, we know time is of the essence as she is not believed to have any medication on her that she needs. But this morning, the sheriff spoke with an NBC reporter telling her that he still has hope and faith that she will be found alive. So they're asking everyone and anyone to keep a lookout for her. Unfortunately, they do not know what she was wearing at the time she was last seen. They also don't know if she left in a car or what kind of car. And at this time, they don't know if she is injured. Anyone with information is asked to reach out directly to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Tram?
Yeah, there's so little to go on. They're not saying a whole lot, the Pima County Sheriff, and, understandably so, because they're still trying to wait for a lot of data and a lot of information and results, lab results to still come in. But, you hear these rumors, and in a way, they kind of become almost distractions from the main focus, which is trying to find her and solicit as many tips as possible.
Exactly. And that's why the sheriff spoke up this morning, asking people to only share information that comes directly from their office, from their investigators, because at this time, that is all we know to be truthful.
Yeah, I know we'll be getting more from you later on this afternoon. Gabriella, thank you so much.
Oops.
CBS News has learned the FBI is sending additional personnel to help in the search for.
Stop it. Okay, so let me go back to. Is this on my playlist? No. Oh, it is. I did put this on my playlist. But I did want to show. So this is so like. I wanted to go back to Brian Netton because he says they are inside Nancy Guthrie's garage. So here they are. They have their drone going, apparently. And so they're just videoing the investigators in the garage.
So I can't tell, are they getting things in the garage or are they just using it to go in and out? The door's open. Look at the door. That's what.
Well, none of them have booties on. It looks like they're just, that one looks like he has a camera.
Is that open? No, it's not open. It's closed. Gloves, yeah. What is happening right there? Like, is he photographed or something? Yeah, let me see if I can't. I don't know.
I don't know about all that. That was 8 minutes ago. But I did see that a local news station is there just standing outside. They're not saying anything. Let me see if they showed anything on the... And that just shows that they have it as a crime. They have the crime scene tape up the whole property. All right, so Banfield, this says, so it looks like, oh, here, no. Police investigating possible new lead in Nancy Guthrie case. That's what TMZ is reporting. Let me just see what that other... Oh, here we go. Could evidence in Nancy Guthrie's search be compromised? All right, so we'll take a look at this and then we'll just keep an eye on this because they must have got a tip or something to lead them back there. In my personal opinion, I don't think Brian should be broadcasting it live. In my opinion, it'll tell the kidnappers what they're up to. Exactly. Or, I mean, it could, it's just, yeah. I was listening to a live and people were saying, did the daughter know it was a mess I dropped? Yeah. And then, you know, first, I mean, law enforcement had said that, first they said family had dropped Nancy off around 9:30, 9:45. Then it was that the daughter Annie had dropped her off. And then it turned, you know, police didn't say it was the son-in-law. But once Ashley Banfield said, oh, you know, Ashley Banfield is the one who said that he was the one who last saw her alive. Like all of these, it's, I don't know, it just, but you know, that gets the views. That gets the views. You know, just going with things that haven't been verified.
Nation's Tracy Walder, a former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Jason Pack, a retired FBI supervisory special agent and former homicide prosecutor Matt Murphy. Tracy, you predicted this. You said they left that scene far too early.
I actually said that last night, and then I talked a bit more about it today. I'm extremely frustrated by how they pretty much unsecured and released that crime scene very, very quickly. I mean, reasons that you would release it are it no longer holds any forensic value to it. Evidence is degraded, but I just don't think that would have been the case of anything inside of the house, potentially outside of the house, yes, due to weather and the elements. And to go back, a case like this where the person is potentially still missing into a crime scene that has already been compromised.
You know, and I don't think, now that I think about it, they didn't have crime scene tape up initially. Because, I mean, maybe they did, but I don't remember seeing crime scene tape up around the house when investigators were first there. I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like I would have remembered that. Right. The poor family's going through enough. They don't need this bullshit. Agree. Could there be an automatic garage door opener and they drove in to drop her off? I get, anything is possible, it seems.
Orders have walked around it, which there's nothing wrong with. It had been released, is hugely problematic, especially when you still have someone at large. There's no rush to necessarily release a crime scene like this.
Matt, you spent all of Orange County, where you were the lead homicide prosecutor, is one of the few jurisdictions in the United States where the homicide prosecutor is on the scene as the crime scene is being processed. First of all, do you agree? I think a lot of people were surprised that the house was so quickly released, as in we're done, we're finished. Anybody can walk up to the very entrance of the house, as our own Brian Enton did. Number one, were you equally surprised as Tracy was that they released that so quickly? And number two, what could they be back there doing now? And is that evidence all compromised? Who knows who's been walking through there?
Well, I agree with everything Tracy just said. As a side note, I got to work with the FBI field agents on so many different cases, and they're great. Okay, so Tracy really is a wealth of information. Admin, to the other guy on the panel, not so great to work with as a homicide prosecutor, which is another story. But look, this is mistakes are made in virtually every case like this. You can't really contaminate. Contrary to popular belief, if you have DNA to a viable suspect, all you can do is turn it into a mixture. You can screw it up, but it still is a viable scene. I heard somebody say it's no longer a crime scene. It is always going to remain a crime scene. Tracy's absolutely right. There's no rush.
So that actually, that makes me feel a little bit better. This guy is saying, even though it may have been disturbed, it doesn't mean it's not still viable, that there won't still be evidence there.
To return this, and they should have kept it for multiple reasons. But hopefully it's not fatal to the case. They could be looking for anything in that garage, Elizabeth. They clearly haven't released all the information yet, which they shouldn't. And there's just so many different dynamics here going on. So they got some information clearly that there's something valuable in the garage. Again, Tracy's right. They should have kept it, and they should have been able to process that at the scene if they didn't, like right when they first came in.
Right.
But we'll have to see what happens next.
Jason, what do you make, and how does the FBI figure out if these three separate ransom notes that have been sent to two television stations in Tucson and perhaps TMZ as well, how do they figure out, the FBI, if these ransom notes are legit or a hoax?
Well, Elizabeth, I was a negotiator for half of my career here. It seems quite unusual to send a ransom note to a media outlet.
Right.
Usually you want to
Wouldn't
get
you send it to the family?
Right. You want to get that information. You take something, you want something in return. So it seems like it's very unusual. So you're going to have every internet sleuth in the world now trying to figure out these crypto wallet currency things. And so it doesn't make that much sense, but you have to still analyze that. You can trace IP addresses, those types of things to see where it came from. Could be a red herring placed by the suspect, or could just be a scammer. We see that a lot. So if it is, it's a very cruel joke.
All right. Jason, Tracy, Matt, stick with us. We have to take a quick.
Yeah, for people to be doing like these possibly fake ransom notes, like, get a life. All right, so I'm just going to check to see if there's any other. Okay, so Brian, 8 minutes ago, investigators are now leaving Nancy Guthrie's house and taking crime scene tape down. They were here for about 2 hours. What the? They should have just left the crime scene tape up. Like, keep people off the frickin' property. Let's see. Let me see if there's any local. see, latest. Okay, so the U.S. Sun, which, take it for a grain of thought. Oh my gosh, these people are, I'm not going to show this because, but like, they're out taking pictures of the family. It says Savannah Guthrie's sister Annie looks shattered as friends comfort her at home after mom Nancy's abduction. Like, no shit, Sherlock. She's going to be distraught and shattered. Like, these people are freaking idiots. I will say Savannah's sister looks very much like their mom. Okay, and then they just have a bunch of pictures. Oh, okay, so actually it does say, okay, so it does say that Annie and Tommaso are believed to be the last people to have seen Nancy before she vanished and was declared missing on Sunday morning. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos confirmed Tommaso dropped her off at home around 9:45 p.m. on Saturday evening. He waited to make sure that she got inside as she suffers from physical disabilities. Nancy had been spending the evening with her daughter Annie's family for dinner. But in the morning, Annie got a call from a church parishioner who said Nancy had never arrived for service. At noon, the family called 911 to officially report her missing, and she has not been seen since. So the sheriff did confirm that Tommaso dropped her off at home, which tells me they were at Annie's home having dinner, and then Tommaso brought Nancy home. And another report said that they're only about a 10-minute drive away from Nancy. So their homes are about 10 minutes apart. I'm just going to see. So actually, let me go back because I wasn't going to. Let me see if there's any other update. Yeah, 3 minutes ago, a third ransom note has been sent. It's believed people are just piling on in this sad matter. Like, yeah, because they're disgusting. People need to get a hobby. All right, so let me just look for one. I'm going to look for one last. And interestingly enough, when you search Nancy Guthrie, there was another Nancy Guthrie who was an author. All right, so let's see. Oh, that was the other thing that I had seen. Apparently, there had been a report of a trespasser by another home in that neighborhood. And police did say that they are looking into whether or not it's connected or not. The trespasser was seen on someone's camera, and then when the motion activated lights turned on, the trespasser got spooked and took off. So I did see that. I forgot about that until I just thought of that. All right, let me just see. Like, people are reporting all kinds of stuff, but I agree. If you don't hear from law enforcement, don't go, shouting it from the rooftops. It's just weird that they would go back and put crime scene tape up and then take it down. Like, just leave it up. Okay, so this is from the U.S. Sun. So this is the last thing I'll cover, and then we'll call it a day. Law enforcement officials taped back up the 84-year-old's house to block access to the property. Wait, let me add this to the screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. The police resurfacing at Guthrie's home comes days after Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos said authorities had completed their investigation at the property and had returned it to the family. The U.S. Sun observed a canine sniffing through the rugged area surrounding Guthrie's property. Federal agents were also seen stepping in and out of Guthrie's garage. It's unclear whether a tip or a new development led Pima County deputies to return to the scene of the crime. The Pima County Sheriff's Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the U.S. Sun. A concerned neighbor, who asked not to be named, told the U.S. Sun she was praying for Guthrie's safe return as she observed federal law enforcement officials canvassing the property on Wednesday. I always felt like she was exposed, the woman said, referring to Guthrie. Like, how many people knew she lived here because her daughter's very wealthy? That's the thing. The woman said she last spoke with Guthrie weeks before Pima County police say she was physically taken from her home against her will on Sunday morning. That's it. I mean, and that's true. I mean, I guess a lot of people would have know where she lives, but I mean, Savannah's been on the Today Show for over 10 years, right? I mean, she's been there for a while. So Doodle says, I think she did have inside informants, but that crap can harm the case and the mom. Agree. Probably the strange guy that was brought up at the press conference. Makes sense. This got so messy because of Ashley. It's too bad. I feel for the family. Yep. And I mean, News Nation, you'd think they'd be a little more careful with, like Brian Etten always says, he wants to be like, verify the information. He doesn't want to just jump on it. But he just was on a video talking about what Ashley Banfield talked about. And it's like, so now this man is having his name just dragged through the mud. And for what? Oh, here we go. Megyn Kelly. Why Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law may be the, quote, prime suspect. I mean, so even it's not just like, small creators. It's big creators talking about, I mean, this poor guy has his face plastered all over the internet now. And that's why, some of these police, these people who, talk to the press confidentially need to just shut their mouths. Because, I mean, and the thing is, so now if it's not the brother-in-law, which I personally don't think it is, now whomever has Nancy is going to be like, oh, good, they're looking over there, not over here. Yeah, and I saw, let me see, where is his... Oh, okay. I just got a message. Ashley Banfield isn't on News Nation anymore? I didn't realize that. I know she has her own her own show now. All right, so let me go to... Okay, so this was just, so it says Banfield shares what she's learned about possible suspect in Guthrie case. This was an hour ago. Ashley Banfield shares what she's been told by law enforcement about a possible suspect in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Senior national correspondent Brian Etten reports deputies are investigating a nearby field and that federal agents visited the home of her daughter Annie. Nancy Guthrie, who is also the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, disappeared over the weekend. Okay, so she must have just joined. I thought she was on News Nation still because she joined. She was on a clip with Brian and I don't know who this guy is. Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, that is all I have for today. I appreciate all of you being here, especially because I know I tried to listen to Sinners Live and I have no idea what is happening. No idea. You know, talking about somebody named Minnie. I was like, who, Minnie Mouse? Like, what? And like photos and voicemails. And I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. I'm going to go and, you know, talk about Persia Nelson and catch up on true crime stuff. I did see on a positive note, I did see that 700 ICE agents, well, I should say federal agents because it could be Border Patrol as well. 700 agents are being pulled out of Minnesota. However, that means they're going to be going somewhere else. And that leaves 2,300 agents still in Minnesota. So I guess it wasn't as positive as I initially thought, now that I think about it. Oh, okay. She retired. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen. She retired a couple weeks ago, I think, to focus her time on her show. Okay, so that's what it is. Because I saw her on her channel. It's like Ashley Times Banfield or something. I don't know, something like that. All right, y'all. Well, have a great night, morning, day, wherever you may be. I do plan on going live tomorrow. I think we'll probably just do a mix of stories depending on what transpires with Nancy Guthrie's case. But, you know, there are other things going on, and yeah. So if you haven't hit that like, please do so on your way out. If you are watching on the replay, #replay. I appreciate all of you. So until next time, y'all, I will see you on the flip side.
You have one shot on stage, what you got to play? Generic drops for days, still the people rage. Am I not insane? Can you stop and explain why these drops are so lame? Is money buying you fame? I'm fucking on, I'm killing it with this song. You haters can sing along or go back where you belong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving up, moving on. Cause I took your girl to prom, she can't help but sing this song. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out, and my high harass. I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out, and my high harass. I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. She's so on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body back. Come on baby, bring it back. I rap with a passion, yeah, I got it in me. I've been waiting quite a long time for y'all to hear me. It's about damn time you put some stock into me. You're either sponsoring me or fucking bothering me. And the fact is, we just practice on this madness. That is why your status is like a canvas. Chances our advancement is enhancing, and this new expansion's like a mansion. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high progress, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high progress, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse.